Namaskar. Today, the topic that we are going to discuss in this satsang is LiVoSim. New word, but of course, those of you who have paid attention to this series of satsangs that we are engaging in as part of the entire Karma Yoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life sadhana paddhati or daily routine, daily practices, you would remember that I have already mentioned that there are 6 specific elements to the whole practice routine. The 6 practice elements, the 6th one really is LiVoSim. I had mentioned this earlier, and those of you who remember all 6 of them need a clap today, because there's been quite a few days since I mentioned these 6. Now, if you remember all 6, it means that you are doing your homework properly. As you will understand that this is a program through which this entire program, not just this satsang, but the entire Fit for Life program is a program for learning and teaching and learning, and evolving and developing and growing. So, as part of it, it's very important that the stuff that we discuss during the satsang, which is like your classwork, that be supported or supplemented by adequate amount of homework. Now, what is the homework? The homework is based on whatever we have been discussing, anything that we discuss in these 10 to 15 minutes early in the morning, immediately after our Pranlila Upasana or our practice. What you would need to do as homework is to run these things, this issue or this topic in your mind throughout the day whenever you get time. Get time means whenever your mind is free, whenever the mind is not otherwise engaged in something, some major activity or some major thinking process. Then you should engage your mind with the thoughts or with the topic that we discuss in the morning. Engage the mind means you could bring out your journal and take notes and write something about it. You could think about it. You could analyze. You could discuss it with others and see and collect other point of views. You could form your own point of view. You could bring up questions on this and you can post these questions. Today, technology allows us to make this a completely interactive process across our lifetimes, not just during a session. So you can post your questions, we can take those questions up and discuss later again and bring new perspectives to this topic that we discuss. You could actually bring out your perspectives and not just put questions. You could record your own videos and post them and create your own channels and all that. So much is possible. All that would mean that you are actually doing homework also, along with the stuff that we are doing here during the satsang, which is the classwork. Now, coming back to the topic that we wanted to discuss in today's session, LiVoSim. Before I get there, let me just repeat the 6 elements that are there as part of this Karma Yoga for 21st Century Fit for Life program. As you know, the first one starts with Somno Magic or Yoga Nidra. The second one is Pranlila Upasana. So Pranlila Upasana and Yoga Nidra are the 2 that we do every day without fail. It's in a real sense a daily routine. The third and the fourth, which is Stamiflex Arati and Shakti Stretch Aradhana, these are done on alternate days. And then the 5th one is meditation, also done every day. So all these 5, as we know, they take specific amounts of time in your day. And all of it is kind of, we assume that you should be able to give about 3 hours every day to all of this. So it's half an hour of Somno Magic, and then Pranlila Upasana is almost another hour, 50 minutes to 1 hour. And then Shakti Stretch Aradhana or Stamiflex Arati are both individually, I mean, they would take about 45 minutes to an hour. So that's 2.5 hours, and then half hour of meditation. That makes it a 3-hour routine. So where is the time for doing LiVoSim now? Well, LiVoSim is not something that you do at a separate time in your life. It doesn't take any separate time. LiVoSim is a lifestyle, is something, everything that you are doing, everything that you do throughout the day, you can bring in the element of LiVoSim into it. That is what LiVoSim means. Now, it's an abbreviation. Abbreviation, as you know, is the bringing together of the first letters of a few words and making a new letter. So LiVoSim is a new word. LiVoSim is a new word that we have coined from 3 different words. The first LiVoSim, as you know, is L-I, capital L small I, capital V-O, and S-I-M, capital S-I-M. So Li, Vo, and Sim. Li comes from lifestyle. Okay, lifestyle. And then Vo comes from voluntary. So lifestyle of voluntary, and Sim comes from simplicity. So the whole term is lifestyle of voluntary simplicity. And this abbreviates itself into LiVoSim. So let's talk a little bit about lifestyle. We know includes all the stuff that we do throughout the day. Lifestyle is our style. Everyone needs to have their own style of living, and they have. So style is not something that we are forcing. We are saying everyone who's practicing Karma Yoga for 21st century or doing this Fit for Life program, all of them are to follow this particular prescribed style of life. No, but you need to develop your own style. If you don't develop it, it's an accidental style which you are following. Everyone has their own lifestyle. You can call it, in some ways it is called religion also. Dharma is really a kind of interchangeable term for lifestyle in many ways, at least that's what it seems to me. But let's stick to not religion, let's not go there. As I said, that's an explosive kind of term. Let's talk about lifestyle. So lifestyle is made up of what we wear, what we eat, how we schedule our day, how we spend our time, where we live, how we decorate our environment where we live, and the kind of dress we wear, and the kind of friends we make. These are all the things that make up our lifestyle. So lifestyle of voluntary. Now voluntary also comes from the word we know, volition, which means an exercising of our free will. That's a very important one, and there are questions about, do we have free will, do we don't have free will, or how much of free will, etc. But we do know that we exercise a certain amount of freedom in our will, in our desires, in our aspirations, in all of these. There is a certain amount of self that comes in, our pure self, which goes into, which expresses through our desires, through our wills, through what we want, through the things that we want. So that is really our free will. When we do something completely based on our own will, no one is pushing us, no one is dictating, there is no one who's prescribing anything, but based on our free will, when we do something, that's called voluntary. We are exercising volition. So lifestyle of voluntary what? Sim comes from simplicity, simple. Simple is simple. It's not complex. It's not complicated. When we don't complicate our lives by bringing in stuff and more stuff and this and that, and our thought process is, our mind is occupied, our tana prana manichit, in that sense, our body, our physical, our energetic, our mental, our spiritual aspects of our being are not engaged in just one thing that we want to do. All of it gets engaged for a long time, then that means it's complex. It's a complicated thing. We have to give a lot more of ourself to it. So that means it's complicated. So when we are living a life or our lifestyle has elements in it which are complicated, then we can call it a lifestyle of complexity. Whereas here we are talking about lifestyle of simplicity. And simplicity, what kind of simplicity? Not the kind of simplicity that's forced on you, but a kind of simplicity which you give into, you accept and you surrender to very lovingly, with your own free will. That's the meaning of lifestyle of voluntary simplicity. A couple of examples would help. For example, the stuff that we eat comes from our kitchen. So we have to run a kitchen. Every home has a kitchen. Now, the kitchen is a source of all kinds of complexity, all kinds of problems. If you have to cook the food that you eat, which means you have to have a gas, an oven, and you have to have stuff to, put spices and ingredients and a recipe and all of that, and time to give to it and all of that, and then you eat the cooked food. Well, the animals don't eat cooked food, they are just eating whatever they are getting, and we humans also can actually live life with a lot of raw food. We can survive on fruits and vegetables and stuff that is uncooked. So if you have an uncooked diet plan or predominantly an uncooked diet plan, that means you have moved from complexity of the kitchen or cooked food to the simplicity of raw food. So similarly, and it's possible. I can tell you about 6 years in my life, I survived, I experimented with complete no cooked food at all, and it transformed my life. And even today, about 70 to 80% of my own diet is raw. Now, I'm not prescribing that to you or to anyone, but all that I'm saying is it's part of this LiVoSim, or how much of simplicity will you bring into your own diet is something that you have to decide, but you have to do it consciously. That's LiVoSim. If you take your dress, you bring in standardization in what you wear, which means you don't open your wardrobe and you are flummoxed by what you should wear that day because you have such a huge range to decide from. So that's a simplicity of choice that you can make in your dress. If you decide, okay, these are the colors that I will wear and these are the type of clothes that I would wear, then that brings in simplicity. So that is LiVoSim. You are bringing in lifestyle of voluntary simplicity. Now again, no prescription. You can see I have prescribed a certain level of simplicity when it comes to my dressing for me. That works for me. This is my volition. It's not prescribed by anyone. I have thought through and decided at this point of time in my life, I am ready for this level of simplicity. So that's LiVoSim. Similarly, how you sleep, the kind of bed, is it what kind of complexity or simplicity does it involve? Does it not just simplicity for you, but simplicity for whole society? If it has to be produced in a factory and the factory has to produce gases and then someone has to regulate that and regulate the pollution and that has to feed you into your need, then that's a complex thing that you have moved into. Well, these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. In LiVoSim is not about a prescription of this food and that dress, but LiVoSim is a way of life, is a lifestyle where you question each and everything that you do on a daily basis. And the way you question it is that, can I make it simpler? Can I make it simpler than what it is today? And if you can make some decisions very lovingly, very easily, willingly, without any pressure, and take some decisions so that you can convert your daily routine or what you do in life on a daily basis to somewhat simpler way of doing those same things. That means you are exercising LiVoSim. You are following LiVoSim. You are bringing in LiVoSim into your daily routine, your daily practices. So it's not something that you do separately at a separate time, but it's something that you include as part of your lifestyle itself, part of your living daily life. Can I, questioning everything and asking yourself, can I make it simpler for myself? And the real reason for making it simpler is connected with a word called Sanskar, which is very important in Indian languages. It is like a ritual. Sanskar is the loose translation for that is ritual. It's not the exact translation, but if you can make these rituals, make Sanskar into your life. It's said that the greatest gift that a parent or a guru can give to their children or their students is the gift of Sanskar, which means Sanskar means discipline in a certain way. So the greatest gift, you can discipline, you can rein in your thoughts, which means you can actually put some boundaries around what you are doing on a daily basis. Put some boundaries and say that, well, I'm going to fix this within these boundaries. The dress I wear will be within these colors and not others. So that's fixing it within boundaries. Now, it's not essential. Again, we are not prescribing which colors, but there are some boundaries. You're not infinite colors, that your wardrobe is not made of infinite colors. So there's a boundary anyway. So can you play with these boundaries and make your life simpler? That's really the issue that we are talking about here. So that's how this LiVoSim connects with sanskars, with simplicity, with lifestyle, with religion, with dharma, and with our experience of living life itself. That's all for today, folks. Hope you will be able to use some of what we said in what we discussed today in your lives. Take it easy and take care. Namaskar.